Most people do not lack opportunity. They lack self-mastery. The opportunity is already on their desk. The door is already open, but the mind that walks through it is untrained. And the soul that walks through it is undecided, and so the door swings shut again, and they blame the
Pause.
master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. Now consider the average morning. The alarm sounds. The hand reaches not for a purpose, but for a screen. The day begins with someone else's voice, someone else's outrage, someone else's life. By the time the feet touch the floor, the mind has already been hijacked. The first hour of the only life you have on this earth has been spent in someone else's story. And you call this normal. But here's the truth. The first hour is yours. The last hour is yours. And the space between is the only territory you will ever truly own. Now, the failure is not what you have been told. It is not bad luck. It is not the economy. It is not the wrong city, the wrong family, the wrong face in the mirror. The failure is small, ordinary, and almost invisible. It happens the moment you wake. It happens the moment you are tired. It happens the moment someone disagrees. You fold, you bend, you drift. And by the end of the week, you cannot remember what you set out to do. This is the disease of the unmastered life. And here is the cost. 10 years slip away. A marriage slips away. A fortune slips away. The dream you once held in your chest like a coal becomes ash in your hands. The body you once respected becomes a stranger in the mirror. The mind you once trusted becomes a noisy hallway of other people's words. And one day, very quietly, the version of you that was supposed to live this life politely asks, "Pause, what happened?" The truth is simple. There is a cure. It lives inside the small daily acts no one applauds. It lives inside the routine no one imitates. It lives in the moment you say no to your lesser self, and yes to your higher self. It lives in the moment you keep the promise you made before the world was awake. This narration will hand you 7 inner moves, 7 quiet levers. Each one turns a wheel inside you, and together they forge what Napoleon Hill called definiteness of purpose. Master yourself, and no power in the world that can stop you. Now, before the levers, let me show you what an unmastered life looks like when it is exposed. It looks like a captain without a chart. A ship without a sail, a riverbed without water. You have energy but no direction. You have time but no structure. You have hunger but no recipe. You are a fire hose of thoughts at the moment of waking, blasting the room in every direction at once. And you wonder why nothing grows. Now here's the truth. Self-mastery is not a personality trait. It is a practice, a muscle. And practice is the weight that turns ordinary flesh into a body that can carry anything. Here's the thing. History remembers a few. The first lever is this: own the first hour. Most people begin their day like a leaf caught in a storm. Tossed, driven, reacting. Their first inhale is a sigh. Their first thought is a complaint. Their first action is a scroll. They wake into the world outside their window instead of the world inside their chest. And they live the day as an echo of the morning they were handed by accident. But here is the reversal. Motivation does not begin with motion. It begins with stillness. The masters I have studied, the men and women who bent the world, began in quiet. Hill wrote of Thomas Edison sitting in the dark, eyes closed, before the day rushed in. Edison did not check the world. He commanded it. He walked into his laboratory, lit his lamp, and said to himself, "Pause, today I will master one more thing." And he did, 800 times, 900 times, 1,000 times, until the mastery became the man. The masters began before the sun. The masters began before the phone. The masters began before anything could steal them. Apply this tonight. Set your alarm. Wake 1 hour earlier than today. For 60 seconds, sit. Do nothing. Let the room be still. Then name 3 things you will do before any screen greets you. Write them on paper. Sleep and let your mind rehearse them in the dark. Tomorrow, walk into the morning as the author, not the audience. That is the first lever. Own the first hour, and the morning will bow to you. The second lever is this: rule your thoughts. Most people believe that to think is to be a victim. They say, "Pause, I can't help what I think." They say, "Pause, I just feel this way." They say the mind has them, not the other way around. They treat their thinking like the weather, something that happens to them, not something they author. They wait to feel brave before they act brave. They wait to feel rich before they act rich. They wait to feel ready before they begin. But here's the truth. The mind is a garden. You are the gardener. If you plant weeds, weeds grow. If you plant roses, roses grow. If you plant nothing, the weeds come anyway, and you will harvest what you did not choose. The harvest of a neglected garden is always bitter. Here's the thing. History remembers a few. Hill writes of Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, who wrote to himself each morning, Today I will rule my impulses. Today I will not be offended. Today I will choose what enters my mind. Marcus ruled the largest empire on earth, and he began by ruling the smallest, his own thinking. He sat on the throne of an empire, but he knew the throne that mattered was the small, quiet chair behind his eyes. The mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the soil. What will you plant today? Apply this tonight. Take 1 minute. Name 3 thoughts that visited you yesterday and stole your peace. Write them down, then write their opposite. Read the opposite aloud. Let the second voice win. Tomorrow, when the first voice returns, the second voice will be there waiting. Pause. That is the second lever. Rule your thoughts. And the day will answer to your mind, not the other way around. The third lever is this. Outlast the quitting point. Most people begin well. They begin with fire. They begin with speeches. They wake up early for a week. They write the plan. They walk the gym. They buy the book. They hang the calendar. And by the third week, they're gone. They have abandoned themselves in public. And every witness quietly concludes that you cannot be trusted with your own promises. This is a slow death, not of the body, of the trust between you and you. But here's the truth. The difference between the master and the dreamer is just this one moment. The moment of quitting. The master simply refuses to leave the room. Hill wrote of Abraham Lincoln, defeated again and again in the years before history turned to him. Broken in business, broken in love. By every public measure, Lincoln was finished. He buried a child. He watched a nation tear itself in two. And he did not leave the room of his purpose. He did not. He sat down, he stood up, he sat down again, and the room became his. Pause. Lincoln outlasted himself. And history answered, apply this tonight. Pick one thing you said you would do, but nearly abandoned. Pick it up tomorrow. Do the smallest version of it. Not the largest, the smallest. 5 minutes, 1 page, 1 phone call, 1 push-up. Bricks laid one by one build the cathedral. The cathedral was never built in a single day, and neither will yours be. Pause. That is the third lever. Outlast the quitting point, and unfinished things will become the monuments of your life. The fourth lever is this, definite aim. Most people try to be many things at once. They scatter, they shimmer, they drift in 10 directions. They take a class for this, a course for that, a job for the other. And by the end of the year, they have made 10 beginnings and 0 finishes. They are a wonderful idea that never became a thing. They are a beautiful sketch that was never painted. But here's the truth. The master is singular. The master has one arrow, and that arrow points straight. Hill wrote of Henry Ford, who did not want everything. He wanted one thing. He wanted a horseless carriage for the multitudes. He was offered partnerships. He was offered riches. He was offered distractions. And he refused them again and again until one focus built the largest fortune of his age. Ford did not have many talents. He had one aim, applied unceasingly. Pause. A river with momentum does not wander. A magnet drawing iron does not scatter. An architect drafting a blueprint does not pour the foundation until the plan is set. So before you move this week, ask yourself, what one thing, if I completed it, would change everything else? Name it on paper. Read it each morning. Walk directly toward it. Say no to 10 other things so this one thing can live. That is the fourth lever, definite aim, and the scattered hours will line up into one mighty arrow. Master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. The fifth lever is this. Welcome adversity as fuel. Most people run from discomfort. They run from hard winters. They run from criticism. They run from every harsh truth that arrives uninvited. They treat pain as a signal to retreat, to apologize, to shrink. They treat every closed door as evidence that doors do not open for them. But here's the truth. Fire forges steel. The blade being sharpened against the stone is not being destroyed. It is being finished. The paintbrush that paints on the canvas is not worn down. It is making the picture it was made for. The muscle that lifts the weight is not torn. It is growing into something it could not be without the resistance. Hill wrote of Helen Keller, deaf and blind before the age of 2, who learned to read lips with her fingers, who earned a degree from Radcliffe, who wrote books that moved the world, who stood in rooms of presidents. The world had not given up on her. The world had handed her a forge, and she stepped into it without flinching. Pause. Adversity is the furnace, and the master walks into it on purpose. Apply this tonight. Recall the last hard thing that happened to you. Then ask, what did this forge in me? Write the answer. Then thank the furnace out loud, because the warmth of the room you now stand in was made by the cold of a night you once endured. Pause. That is the fifth lever. Welcome adversity as fuel. And the hard days will harden you into something the soft days could never build. The sixth lever is this: build the inner circle. Most people try to come alone. They treat loneliness as a sign of strength. They mistake isolation for focus. They post their wins and bury their doubts, and the silence becomes a prison. They are surrounded by people and alone in every room. But here's the truth. The master chooses his circle with the precision of a jeweler. Hill wrote often of the mastermind, a small group of equals whose combined vision outpaces any single mind. Carnegie, the Steel King, did not build alone. He convened, he invited, he used the combined mind of those he had chosen to listen to. He sat in rooms with minds sharper than his own, and he was not ashamed of this. A single candle lights a room. 3 candles light a cathedral. A lighthouse in a storm is not saved by itself. It is saved by the keeper who maintains it and the tower that holds it. Apply this tonight. Name 3 people whose thinking admires you. Then ask one of them a real question this week. Not small talk, a real question. Listen more than you speak. Receive the answer before you defend your own. That is the sixth lever. Build the inner circle, and your mind will become a room with many windows. The seventh lever is this: decide once, move in silence. Most people overdebate. They poll, they wait, they announce, they look for permission, they post the plan before the plan is finished. They explain the dream before it has left the dreamer's mouth, and the moment passes. But here's the truth: the master decides once, and he moves in silence. Hill wrote of Walt Disney, who was told he lacked imagination. He was fired from a newspaper. He went bankrupt more than once. He was told Mickey Mouse would never work. He was told Disneyland would never be built. He was laughed at by bankers, by rivals, by his own brother. And yet he kept the decision inside him and walked steadily toward it, refusing to argue with the world about the world. A single bolt aimed well is lightning. Apply this tonight. Name one decision you have been avoiding. Move it from your head to paper tonight. Circle it. Tomorrow, act on the smallest piece. Do not announce it. Do not defend it. Just do it. The world adjusts to a quiet certainty faster than it adjusts to a loud declaration. That is the seventh lever. Decide once, move in silence, and the world will adjust to your quiet certainty. Now, here is what all 7 levers share. It is not discipline. Discipline is a symptom that appears only after the choice. It is not willpower. Willpower is a fuel that will run out by Thursday if you treat it as the engine. It is not motivation. Motivation is a thief who arrives with applause and leaves before breakfast. Behind every one of these levers lies one quiet inner force. Hill called it definiteness of purpose. I will call it mastery of self. When you master the morning, you master the day. When you master the thought, you master the hour. When you master the quitting point, you master the years. When you master the aim, you master the trajectory. When you master the adversity, you master the growth. When you master the circle, you master the noise. When you master the decision, you now master the future. Behind every one of these principles lies one hidden driver. A self that has chosen itself. Everything outside of you will answer to a self that has chosen itself. The morning answers. The market answers. The marriage answers. The body answers. The bank account answers. The dream answers. They all bow to the self that has chosen itself. Pause, master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. Now, here is where the inward shift begins. You have been comparing. You have been comparing your first chapter to someone else's middle chapter. You have been comparing your draft to their finished manuscript. You have been comparing your body to theirs, your bank to theirs, your marriage to theirs, your pace to theirs. And in every comparison, you have slowly shrunk yourself to fit the room they built. Comparison is a thief that robs you of joy and clouds your mind. Stop comparing. Start composing. You have been waiting for the world to confirm you. You have been waiting for applause before you act. You have been waiting for permission before you begin. You have been waiting for a friend to say, pause, you can. And the wait has cost you years. It has cost you the laughter you would have given yourself. It has cost you the work you would have done. Pause validation begins within. Before the world believes in you, you must believe in yourself. You have been silent about your dreams. You have shrunk them to fit polite rooms. You have folded them into whispers. You have handed them to the safe crowd that warned you to be realistic. You have called your fire foolishness to please the cautious. Pause, you are the center of your universe. Never forget it. You must reclaim the throne of your own mind. Your dreams are not small. They have been made small by your fear. The dream was always the size it was the day it arrived. Pause, master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. So decide with me now. Pause, stop waiting. Pause, stop making excuses. Pause, start doing. Decide who you will be today before the day tells you who to be. Decide which thoughts you will allow into the garden. Decide which voice will lead you, the smaller or the greater. Decide once and walk. Walk toward your purpose as if it is already done. When this year closes, you will not be the same. You will rise before the sun. You will write before you scroll. You will walk toward your definite aim. You will outlast the quitting point. You will forge the soft days into steel. You will convene your mastermind. You will decide once and move in silence. And one quiet morning, when the alarm sounds and you reach not for the screen but for the page, you will see the new self looking back. And the next time someone tells you it cannot be done, you will smile, because you have already seen the room you are building, and the room is real. And the world that once pushed back will begin to lean in. Doors will appear where walls once stood. People will find you. Opportunity will find you. Because the person you have become is the person the world was waiting for. The world does not reward the loudest voice. The world rewards the most resolved one. Pause, master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. Your time is now. Most people do not lack opportunity. They lack self-mastery. The first hour is yours. The last hour is yours. The space between is the only territory you will ever truly own. The failure is small, ordinary, and almost invisible. You fold, you bend, you drift. The cure lives in the moment you say no to your lesser self and yes to your higher self. Self-mastery is not a personality trait. It is a practice, a muscle. Motivation does not begin with motion. It begins with stillness. The masters began before the sun, before the phone, before anything could steal them. The mind is a garden. You are the gardener. Thoughts are the soil. What will you plant today? The mind of a neglected garden always harvests bitterness. The master simply refuses to leave the room of his purpose. Bricks laid one by one build the cathedral. A river with momentum does not wander. A magnet drawing iron does not scatter. Fire forges steel. The master walks into the furnace on purpose. The blade against the stone is not being destroyed. It is being finished. The muscle that lifts the weight is not torn. It is growing. A single candle lights a room. 3 candles light a cathedral. A lighthouse in a storm is saved by the keeper who maintains it. Discipline is a symptom that appears only after the choice. Motivation is a thief who arrives with applause and leaves before breakfast. Behind every principle lies a self that has chosen itself. Everything outside of you answers to a self that has chosen itself. Comparison is a thief that robs you of joy and clouds your mind. Stop comparing. Start composing. Validation begins within. The world confirms only after you commit. You are the center of your universe. Never forget it. Reclaim the throne of your own mind. Your dreams are not small. They have been made small by fear. Decide who you will be today before the day tells you who to be. The world does not reward the loudest voice. The world rewards the most resolved one. The person you have become is the person the world was waiting for. Walk toward your purpose as if it is already done. A single bolt aimed well is lightning. The room you are building is real. Master yourself. No power stops you. Own the first hour. Reclaim the throne of your mind. Decide once. Move in silence. 7 levers to master your life. Master yourself. Napoleon Hill. Think and grow rich. Self and motivation. Mindset and the master. Inner discipline. Reclaim your throne. Master your mind. Napoleon Hill quotes us. Decide and move. Self-mastery journey. Mindset shift. Master yourself. Napoleon Hill. Think and grow rich. Self-mastery. Decide once. Move in silence. Mindset matters greatness. There is a quiet war inside every human being, and it is won before the world ever sees the battle. Most people do not lose to a circumstance. They lose to a small, ordinary drift inside their own mind, a drift that begins the moment they wake and ends, often in a decade they cannot explain. The thesis this narration is built upon is one that has echoed through the centuries since Napoleon Hill first set it down. Master yourself, and no power in the world can stop you. To live that thesis is to live by 7 quiet levers practiced daily until they become the architecture of the soul. Own the first hour, rule your thoughts, outlast the quitting point, definite aim, welcome adversity as fuel, build the inner circle, and decide once. Move in silence. None of these require a stage. None of these require applause. Each one is a small, steady, deliberate act performed in private, and each one, taken together, forms a single quiet force inside every life that bends the outer world to its will. The room you are building is real, and the time to build it is not next year, not next month, not tomorrow morning. It is tonight, in the stillness before the alarm.